Last. Now everybody go to breakfast.
Hey, my name is Carmen. I'm a doula. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a birth worker. I'm a community organizer. And most of all, I'm a mother. And a Black woman. Like, top thing. Black woman.
I'm a me happy adult. I no go feed the girl. I no go feed the girl. It's out though. I'm a mind that's with the talk. I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love. I know holy.
Hey, how you doing? This is Harambe Digital, and I have Carmen here. She is actually a doula in New York City. I know that Black women's health has become an issue in New York City, so I wanted to especially invite her. I know that Black women are dying at 2.6 times the rate of white women, no matter what the education level or the income is. So I thought this was a big issue that I wanted to kind of tackle. And I brought a specialist, Carmen here. So Carmen, I guess my first question is, what kind of inspired you? It's a three-part question. What kind of inspired you to become a doula? And how long have you been a doula? And have you dealt with, I guess, Black women in particular before?
Yeah. So that's a beautiful and a great question. So I got into doula work directly because of my own experience. I got pregnant after I finished high school, or not high school, college. So I wasn't a young mother, but I look young. Like Black women, like Black don't crack. We age on the inside much faster than we age on the outside. So I was a grown woman. I was 25 years old. I had a grown-up job, grown-up bills, grown-up responsibilities, but I read young. And I still knew that I wanted to like work with a midwife as opposed to an OBGYN because of the treatment that I was getting when I went to hospitals. They treated me bad. They treated me bad. I would go without my partner most times. I would go without my children's father. So they treated me like I was like some teen mom, some throwaway. And my birthing experience was a really beautiful layered story was what directly inspired me to like get into birth work. I ended up having two children. I have two children and I had them both at home unassisted. I had one in Oregon and I had one in North Carolina. And the reason why I had the first one in Oregon was because home birth was illegal in North Carolina at the time. And I had a name, like they always say about like women's intuition. Yeah. I had my mom, when you are pregnant, your body is open, your mind is open, your spirit is open to all these intuitions, all these messages. And I was blessed to have the fortitude to like just listen to my body and listen to that. I've always been I'm a dancer. Like that's my first life. I've always been someone who's had to like really rely and listen to my body. So I was listening to my body and my body said, if you stay in North Carolina, they're going to kill you. If you have this baby here, it's not going to be how you want it to be. So you got to get out. So that's exactly what I did. I went to first I went to Arizona, but I still couldn't access a midwife in Arizona. And I had a midwife, like I said, I had a midwife in North Carolina, but the care was just not what I needed it to be there. I felt a lot of the mistreatment. I felt a lot of the like my visits were rushed. They didn't really answer my questions. I just didn't feel safe. And they say when a woman gives birth, she's like the closest she is to death. So I knew that I needed to do this one thing. I'm only gonna have this baby one time. The baby only gets to be born one time. I only have this one body. It's gotta be right. It's got to be right. This is the one time it's got to be right. So that's what inspired me to begin my birth working journey. So after I had my second child is when I became a doula. But when I had my first child, like I said, I had him in under the most direct but amazing circumstances. I moved to Arizona and still, like I said, couldn't access a midwife in Arizona. And then ended up in Oregon, but was like housing insecure. But it was at like ended up having my baby at a hippie commune called Circle of Children. No, it was Triangle, like it was called Circle of Children. And the event was called Tribal Lesson. It was based on the gift economy. So we were at the point where I was like, I left North Carolina at like, 6, 7 months pregnant. And we drove across the country in our minivan. We packed out our Odyssey. We called him Odie. Backed out Odie. We drove across the country. Well, and we stayed at KOAs and national park camp with these two dogs. So we got to Arizona where we stayed at another hippie commune called Wind Spirit. Now, Wind Spirit was 90 miles from Tucson and 90 miles from Phoenix. And if you know anything about Arizona, like Phoenix and Tucson are like two major cities. But this place was like smack dab in the middle of both of those places. And I couldn't access a midwife there either because the midwives called me. And like when I called midwives and reached out to them, they were like, you're too far away for if anything happened to you, we couldn't get you to a hospital one time. So I ended up landing in Oregon because my children's father had a childhood friend who was doing this event called Tribal Essence. And Tribal Essence, they were operating on a gift economy. You know what the gift economy is?
No, tell me about it.
The gift economy is basically you show up and you offer your gifts of services. So if you're a massage therapist, show up and you pay your way by giving massages. You pay your way by being a chef. You pay your way by farming. You pay your way by whatever you have. So we called them up. We like wrote them and it was like, all right, I get this. I'm having a baby. I'm having a baby this month, and we need a place to have this baby. And I don't want to have this baby in the hospital. I like something in my spirit just told me not to go to the hospital. In retrospect, I think about it now. I think about all of my experiences with hospitals, and as a child, both of my parents nearly died at hospitals, in hospitals both. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this at the hospital. And then when I was going to the doctor with my OBGYN, I was having bad experiences. I was feeling the mistreatment. I was feeling the energy that was not positive. It was not like you had my best interest at heart, or you were listening to me, or like it was just not what I knew in my spirit that was not what it was going to be for me. So I prayed and I manifested something different. I prayed and I manifested and I asked my ancestors to like guide me through this. And like I said, I ended up having the perfect birth, exactly how I needed that. I had my children. I had my first child in Oregon, and we had him in I had a water birth. The people came from in town, from Eugene, Oregon. That was like the closest big town. They came and they sang to me while I was in labor.
Really?
They cut up fruit to me and fed me fruit and fed my partner fruit and like played the drums, and like I had a beautiful birth. I had the most beautiful birth that I could ever ask for, and that gave me the confidence to do it again. And I actually ended up going back home to have my second child. What was home then? Because home is New York City for me. But my partner was from North Carolina, so we were in his home. We went back home to have the baby, and we had him. We got a kiddie pool from Walmart, and we were just like, "We're doing this," and we did it. And after that, I was like, I've done this twice. I think that I can not only do this, but like share my experience and show other Black women how to do this. And it was something that was very like full circle. I know that how you get here and how you start a thing is how it's gonna be. And I was born in a way of chaos, and I have like lived my life kind of chaotic. Like from my mother's point of view, I was born of C-section. So that is trauma. That is chaos for both the baby and the mom, right?
Yeah.
They cut the belly open and they rip you out leg first, right? That is chaos for a child. That's chaos for a birthing person, because naturally you want to be born head first. You want your crown to hit this earth first, but my feet hit the earth first, right? My butt hit the earth first. Whatever that doctor grabbed hit the earth first. When you're born, you want to be able to connect, like for me, with my births. If I did this thing that was really, really hard. I held this baby in my body for 9 months, 10 months, really, for 10 weeks. Not 10 months. Yeah, 10 months. The 40 weeks is 10 months, 40 weeks. So I held this baby in my body for 40 weeks. After I had this baby, nobody can take this baby away from me. I'm not here for that. And when you go to a hospital, they take the baby away from you. I'm not here for that. Don't take my baby. right? I just that thing. You can't take this baby out of my sight, out of my room, out of like away from me. Don't take this baby, right? So that was one of the reasons why I decided that home birth was for me. Another reason, again, I said my parents had like all these. Like I grew up. My mother had sarcoidosis. When I was 14 or 15, and that almost killed her. My father had a staph infection when I was like 11 or 12, and that almost killed
That
him.
might take them out.
Right. Both of my parents almost died as a child, and I was the only one there to like pick up the pieces and take care of them. And it like gave me trauma around hospital spaces, and the way in which Black people and Black women particularly engage in hospital space. Now, another part of my birthing story that I kind of always skim over and don't ever really share is that on my journey while I was traveling from Arizona to Oregon, I had an incident with the car. I don't know what I was thinking about, but the car like broke down and like overheated, and I tried to put antifreeze in the car. Now I don't know why I was trying to do this because I had a man and I was like 9 months pregnant at this point, like 8, 9 months pregnant. So whatever. I don't know. I was being crazy. I don't know. Superwoman. I don't know. But I ended up taking the radiator, the cap over the radiator, thinking it was the cap we pour the oil in.
Yeah.
And the radiator exploded.
Oh my God.
Blew up and I burnt my face off.
Oh my God.
Shit. Burned my face off and they rushed me to the hospital, right? So they rushed me to the hospital and I'm telling them I'm pregnant. I'm allergic to morphine. Please don't give me morphine to make me sick. I don't want this. I don't want my baby to have the effects of morphine in their body. I don't want this. I don't want this. They still gave me morphine. I did not see a doctor the entire time I was at the hospital. All I saw was nurses. The nurses debrided my wounds and again, the body is so fucking amazing. Like it's one of the things that I think about like our bodies. Because I was so big belly pregnant at the time, my body was producing stem cells. So I got this big major injury. Like it was 2nd and 3rd degree burns on my face. Like I burned my face literally.
Oh fuck, you still look good though. Golly, girl.
Because of the stem cells, because I was pregnant at the time, my baby saved me. My baby and the fact that I was carrying a baby saved my face. By the time I delivered my child, I had no scars on my face. I was like scarlet. I was like regular. Yeah.
I mean, I guess stem cells is a whole nother issue, but I guess I love the whole story and I'm feeling it all. Like I love your path to being a doula. And yeah, that was great though.
Yeah, I had 2 babies and I was like, I can do this. I should teach people how to do this. And every Black woman should have the support that I had. Even though I was surrounded by strangers, they were virtual strangers. They came in and they gave me the exact birth that I needed, everything that I needed. They were like,
love. So yeah, Carmen, what a great story. I understand that was really deep. So my next question is, what is your understanding of disparities in Black maternal health outcomes for Black women, and how do you address them in your practice?
So the numbers, like they say numbers don't lie, but numbers do lie. Right?
Yeah, let it go.
My name's Jonah.
Jonah.
A little lie. We don't, the rum punch isn't frozen anymore, so we don't want it on the rocks. Choose margaritas, but I want to get it. I can have the rum punch on the rocks. It's fine. I want on the rocks.
I'm good for right now.
All right.
Yeah.
So numbers don't lie, right? But they do lie because they can be skewed in different ways. Really, at the root of it is racism. Like it's not. When we look at the numbers, and lots of folks will tell us that like Black women inherently have a problem with doing the most natural thing that a person can do while they live on this earth. Just produce a baby. Not Black women who have a problem doing this. It is racism in America. Like Beyonce said it. The gospel according to Beyonce. America's got a problem. America's got a problem, and it's got a problem addressing racism and addressing how we treat people. Like racism has a visceral effect on your body, right? And doctors in the medical industrial complex are trained under inherent biases. So they like doctors still think that Black people have thicker skin, that Black people have higher pain tolerance, right?
My mom said that. She was like, they think black women can't feel any pain. I said, that's my mom taught me a lot of that. She gave me a whole 30-minute dialogue about doulas. That's why I wanted to talk to you. But yeah, exactly.
We think that right. The medical industrial complex thinks that Black women don't feel any pain, that they don't know their bodies, and like overall, the way that we address birth, period, in this country is a little lopsided, right? Like most third world countries don't have the same rate of morbidity, mortality, C-section rates. You have to look at all of these things, and in New York City, we have high C-section rates as well. And we have to think about, like, what's the root cause of that? A lot of it comes down to doctors pathologizing birth and pathologizing bodies, right? Pathologizing especially Black bodies. When you get pregnant, it's like, how do I say this? It's like adding an extension to your hose, right? If you're thinking about your like vascular system,
Yeah.
so you're adding an extension to the hose. So that adds that's another like layer of pressure. So if there are Black women who are experiencing health disparities before they're pregnant, they're experiencing high blood pressure because of stress, because of the living environment, because of stress, because of the working environment, because of stress, because of financial environments, or whatever the landscape may be. You are experiencing that. All of that gets compounded when you're pregnant, right?
Facts, yeah.
This is why in my practice, I think about holding families, right? My practice, like I serve Black women, but I serve more than Black women. I serve Black families. I believe that this baby was made with love, right? And the baby's gonna get out the same way the baby got in, right?
Yes.
The baby was made with love, and the baby's gonna get out the same way the baby got in.
I love that, and I might use that. Say it another time. Godly.
That's fine, because I'm saying I live my life by Proverbs. That's a proverb. This baby, I live my life by Proverbs. My first business, I am the dancing doula. I am divinity birthright. I believe that divinity is our birthright. Abundance is our birthright. Like, we did not come here to suffer. I did not come here to suffer. I came here to live. I came here to drink. I came here to party. I came here to turn up. I came here to experience. I came here to love. I came here to love unabashedly, right? Western society and racism and white supremacist delusion has made that very challenging for us, right? White supremacist delusion has made it seem that there's something inherently wrong with Black bodies, that they can't birth safely, and that's not true. It's because of racism. It's because of I was getting to this point earlier, that racism. If we think about our bodies like cars, racism is like gunning the engine on the car, right? You're gunning the engine, you're gunning the engine all the time. That's putting wear and tear on the engine, right? On the heart. The engine, if the engine is the heart, the body's the car, the engine is the heart. Thank you. We gunning in this engine with racism, with all of the experience. Anytime we see black women being murdered, Black boys being murdered, that has an effect on our subconscious, which will then have an effect on our blood system and our circulatory system and everything. And that will mess up our whole equilibrium. And our bodies are amazing, but our bodies have to stay in balance. Like, the most important thing about our bodies is this balance. And as a Black woman living in America, I know that oftentimes I find myself in this survival mode and navigating the survival mode. And that survival mode is a thing that makes us sick. It's a thing that causes us harm. It's a thing that can jam up labor. It's a thing that can jam up labor. And the other thing that jams up labor is going to hospitals and having interventions that turn into the interventions start as a snowball. So an example is, you go to a hospital and you're not very dilated. So they might give you Pitocin. And Pitocin is oxytocin, but artificial oxytocin. Your body already produces oxytocin.
Right.
And if you are feeling like oxytocin is a love hormone, for instance. So if you're feeling like you're loved and secure and safe, you don't need Pitocin. You don't need, because your body's producing your body's producing oxytocin. But they'll give you oxytocin at the hospital or Pitocin at the hospital to speed labor along, right? And they're speeding this labor along, and now that the contractions, which your body was naturally doing, maybe 5 minutes apart, maybe 7 minutes apart, maybe on a rhythm, maybe off a rhythm, but your body was handling it and you were able to cope with it. Now they gave you this drug, and now contractions are coming really, really hard, and they're coming back to back. Your body can't cope with it. So now they're going to give you an epidural, right? And now they're giving you an epidural, and that's going to slow everything down. Now you can't feel anything at all.
Okay.
So now you're getting these, now you're not getting the contractions, and the doctors are just looking at you, and they're coming in every 20 minutes, looking at you, examining you, like all of that. You're like, I know for me personally, and from what I see when I like witness women in labor is a meditation. Labor is a ceremony, right? And labor, this is a ceremony, this is a celebration. And when we do it at home, I don't have to work to make it a ceremony, to make it a celebration. But when we do it at hospital, I have to do a lot of work to make this feel like a ceremony. They make it feel like a celebration, because when you go into the hospital, this becomes their birth. You become their patient. When you have a baby at home, this is why I'm such a big advocate for having a baby at home or having a baby in a birthing facility. If you're not high risk, if your doctor sign off on it, if that is the best option for you, I'm an advocate for this, because at home, you're going to produce more oxytocin. At home, you're with all your stuff that you love, and you're surrounded by all the people that love you.
Right.
And that's what you need, right? Like, more than anything else, in my labors, I know I needed to know that the person that helped me make this baby is right behind me, loving me.
Talking about it.
And I thought, I had the premonition that if I went to the hospital, they would kick him out. If I went to the hospital, like, especially like now with COVID, like COVID was something that was devastating to birthing Black women. It was devastating to birthing people, period, but definitely birthing Black women. Like, you might not have a huge support system, but you need your mother, your baby father, your sister in there, and they're saying you can only have one person. Nah. I need these people. I need somebody to wipe my head. I need somebody to give me water. I need to eat. Like, the number one reason why I wanted to have my baby at home, or one of the number one reasons, there's lots of reasons. I didn't want you to take my baby from me after I did this thing that was really hard. That was like one reason. I wanted to be able to have a sandwich, because it's labor. Like, you're in labor. Some women are in labor for 3 days.
Yeah.
For 3 days, I need a sandwich.
I could only
Give me
imagine.
something to eat. My body is working really hard. I need something to eat, right? So I wanted to stay home for that reason, right? I wanted to stay home also, ultimately, right, because I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do in my castle, in my kingdom, in my house.
Not in the castle.
Not in my castle.
Yeah.
In somebody else's castle, you're at the hospital, they tell you what to do. They tell you, ma'am, you can't sit down. Ma'am, get your leg down. Ma'am, stop twerking. I absolutely twerked in my labor. I absolutely, again, the baby's going to get out the same way the baby got in, right? I'm bending over. I'm lifting my leg up, and I'm whining it. That's what's gotta happen. Gotta happen. The baby's got to find its way out. It's like lots of things.
Wine girl. I love it. Yeah, man. We got to you advocate for your clients to receive the best possible care that they can receive.
I teach them how to advocate for themselves. I don't advocate for them. I teach them to slow it down, right? I want them to, I teach them some key phrases to say. I'm going to teach y'all right now too. I want y'all to say, we all are at the doctor. I want y'all to say, can you ask me again in 5 minutes? Do I have to make this decision right now? Is this a decision that I have to make right now? Like, again, around the Pitocin drip. Is this a decision that I have to make right now? What will happen? What are the outcomes if I wait another 30 minutes or wait another hour? And then other key thing to say when you want something and they're not wanting to give it to you. All right, put that in my notes. Let me tell you about how important, how powerful that phrase. All right, put that in my notes is. I was with my father one time, And my father had a hernia for 6 weeks. He had a hernia for 6 weeks. He was going to the VA back and forth to try and get this surgery scheduled. And they did a CT scan. They couldn't find a hernia, nothing. They did not do a physical exam on him. My father was like, you don't even do a physical exam on me. The doctor said, well, I'm looking at your X-ray, your CT. I don't see anything. I said, all right, well, put it in your notes. I said, I was with my father. I said, all right, put it in the notes if you refuse to do a physical exam on him. The doctor pulled out his gloves, did the physical exam, found the hernia, and had my father scheduled for the hernia surgery the following
Shit out of
Tuesday.
here.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Put it in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Put this in the notes.
So what other tips you might have?
Slow it down, put it in the notes. But my number one tip is you can stay out the hospital, do. You can stay out of the hospital, do that. You can find natural alternative methods. If you are comfortable with that, do that. Because when you go to the hospital, that becomes the hospital's verse. I believe in autonomy and I trust birth. I trust bodies. And the number one thing that I want to empower my clients and the families that I serve, I don't serve women. I don't just serve mothers. I serve families. Like, you're not, like, the woman is not just having a baby. A man is having a baby too. Men experience postpartum depression too. Men experience like prenatal symptoms too.
Talk about that.
Listen.
Wow.
My grandmother always knew when one of her grandsons was pregnant, had got somebody pregnant because they were sleeping all the time. And you got somebody pregnant, you sleeping all the time. It's 2 o'clock in the day and you sleeping. You got somebody pregnant, right? That is indeed a physiological response to like hormones and endorphins. Because when a woman is pregnant, the body knows, like the body is sending off like the pheromones or hormones or whatever to tell the man that they got her pregnant. We are going to have sleepless nights in the next 9 months, in the next 10 months. You better catch up on all the rest you have right now because I need you to help with the baby. I'm going to need you to wake up at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and help me with this baby.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Listen, you are catching up on sleep right now. The reason why your man is so sleepy because he needs to catch on the rest right now so that when the baby comes, there is someone else to help you wake up and take care of that baby. Now, in my experience, it has been mama's babies, papa's babies, but for the families that I serve, I see Black men showing up for their partners in a phenomenal way, and I'm here for it, and I love it. I love it. I love when Black men have Black friends, Black other male friends that help them and support them in their fatherhood challenges, because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about what parenthood is going to be that first 5 weeks, that first 6 months, and it gets crazy. It gets hectic. You need support. You need your family. And that's one of the things that I supply in my work. Like, my work is to help support families and to help others become care providers to support families. Divinity Birthright trains doulas, right? I train you to be a doula. I train you to be a postpartum care supporter. I train you to be a birth worker. And it's important because we need more care providers that look like us. We need more OBGYNs that look like us. We need more midwives that look like us.
Really, more now than ever, especially with the statistics that are out right now. I think that is something that we definitely need. So doulas, professional medical workers that look like us, that know the cultural significance.
And then integrated support, right? Cultural significance. I see so many memes, and I've had so many conversations with Black women who are like on the nursing floor, who would get clients, or come on call, and someone might have ordered a psyche bow for a Black client because she was patting her head. They were like, oh, she's crazy. No. This is a cultural thing. Like, I'm patting my head because I got braids in and I can't scratch it. Patting my head, right? But you think, like, if you're a white person and you don't know, like, what the cultural significance of, like, getting a weave in or getting, like, a wig in or getting, like, braids in, this is how I'm scratching my head. I'm not crazy. I got an itch. This is why cultural representation is important.
Right.
Those little things. I also think about the way that I have seen the medical industrial complex fail Black women, the way that I have seen the medical industrial complex ignore Black women. Like in the cases that have been the most devastating to me in my heart, it's been neglect. Been around neglect, been around Black women saying, hey, this doesn't feel right. And the doctor is saying, oh, you just need a little bit of extra rest. Nah, I need you to check this. Like Serena Williams is a prime example. Serena Williams is a prime example. She needed heparin. She needed heparin because she has blood that clots a lot. So heparin helps thin the blood. The doctors didn't, the nurses, because not even the doctors. And when in reality, when you go into a hospital setting to have your baby, it's not the doctors that are taking care of you, it's the nurses. So be good to your nurses. I always be good to my nurses. But the nurses did not read her chart. They won't always read your chart completely, did not read the chart, did not see. And she requires heparin. She had to grab a nurse by the neck and tell them, I need this medication or I am going to die. Can you imagine?
Wow.
This is Serena Williams. This is like a tennis goddess. Like
Goddess. She is the god.
the
God.
GOAT of all time.
The goddess. Yeah, she is the goddess. She's the GOAT.
And having a baby almost took her out. Having a baby is the most natural thing a person can do when they're having this human ass experience. To have a baby is to procreate, to replicate. Most natural thing that you can do. Black women are doing it and dying at an enormous, like, exorbitant rates. Doesn't make any sense. But then again, it does, because when we understand that, like, the medical industrial complex is racist and that there are agendas that are not even like necessarily meant to kill us, but it's not meant to serve us. They're meant to serve people that are other than us. This system was based on people that don't like. For instance, you go into the hospital and you have COVID and they need to take the blood ox for it, right? That's based on like how much oxygen is based on in your blood. They take that test with light. They base that light based upon light skin, like white skin. They don't have any tests. They didn't make that oximeter meter, and they make that for Black people. They make that for Black skin. So our rate will consistently be less. Our oxygen rates will consistently be less than our white counterparts. That means our service will consistently be altered because of it. The way that the doctors now treat this ailment or perceived ailment is gonna be different because the medical, literally the medical equipment that they use to make their tests off of is not for us.
Right. Yeah. And that was a big thing when I was studying biology down at UNCG, is that there needs to be, because there's different medications that you maybe need to get to Black people and maybe you need to get to white people. So it was a difference. And I think some of those differences haven't been sorted out yet. And I think it's a big issue because with the rate that Black women are dying, I think that needs to be some more research into like melanin and Black people health. That's why I'm advocating for more Black professionals to get into the study realm, to get into the doula realm, to get into all these.
We need more care providers. For me, I personally believe that birth period should happen at home. Like countries like Germany, that is also considered like a first world country. They don't have nearly as high of a C-section rate or maternal mortality rate because they rely on midwives and they only go to OBGYNs and other doctors when there is something abnormal happening in the pregnancy. And midwife, so the difference between midwifery care and the midwifery model of care and the OBGYN model of care is like the amount of time that's spent with the client. When I had even though my midwife was not necessarily great to me, my midwifery appointment on average she scheduled a half an hour for me, right? If I had an OBGYN, I would have 10 minutes. Talk to them face to face. She had a half an hour to an hour with me. Jenny Joseph, Jenny Joseph, Mama Saran, all of the Black midwives that I know and studied under, Jamara, Amani, like all of the Black midwives that I study under, give their clients an hour at least per a client. So So that means that they're only taking 5 or 6 births a month, right? Tops. A doctor, the OBGYN might catch 30 babies in a month. Too much.
That's
How do you
way too much.
how do you know this woman's history, this woman's life, like what this is? Because this is like
I think you should know your clients by name. Like if you're giving birth to a child.
the fact that we pathologize births, like that to me was the beginning factor as to why I decided to have my children naturally and at home and be unassisted, is because I fundamentally understood and felt like there was nothing wrong with me because I was pregnant. I'm not sick. Like hospitals are for sick people. I'm not sick. I'm not going in there because they're gonna treat me like I'm a sick person. I'm not a sick person. I'm a well person that's doing a very, very special thing right now. But I'm a well person. So just treat me like I have some like autonomy. My top value in my life, in my birthing practice, is autonomy and consent. And with autonomy and consent, the next thing is informed consent. I've got to give you all of the information for you to be able to make the best decision for yourself. And I believe that as a person, you have the right to make the best decision for yourself, and you know what's best for yourself because you know your body. You had your body your whole life. I just met you 10 months ago.
Fair enough.
You had your body your whole life. So you know what to do with it. You know when something is not ticking, tacking right. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Doctors don't feel that same way. Doctors, because they've been in school as long as they've been in, because they paid as much tuition as they pay, they believe that they are the experts on bodies. And that is not the case. That's not true.
So what do you do to prepare your patients for this postpartum period? And especially in light of everything that's going on with black mortality with black women, what do you kind of do to prepare them?
Like the gospel according to Conscious Lee, the IG Conscious Lee. God. Education is elevation. I educate them, and then I provide postpartum support like afterwards. But beforehand, I'm gonna educate you. I'm gonna help you set up your support system. After you have this baby, what y'all gonna do? How y'all gonna live? What is the next day gonna look like? Who's gonna cook your meals? Like who's gonna do the laundry? Like what does the support system look like? Is your mom gonna come and spend a week with you? Is your dad? Is your partner's mom gonna come and spend a month with you? Is your mom gonna spend a month with you? Can I spend a month with you? How many days of the week do you want me to come over so that you can take a nap and I can just hold the baby? Because as a woman had the baby, she shouldn't really be fussing over the baby. She shouldn't have the baby 24/7. A lot of reasons, a huge factor that has been unstudied that lies into why women have postpartum depression is the lack of support. The reason why most women have postpartum is because they're lacking support and they don't know how to ask for the help that they need. They're not able to access the help they need. When you have a baby, after you have a baby, you feel like you have given birth to a truck. You feel like a truck has just left your body. Your butt is chapped, right? Your body hurts. Your booty is hurting. Your butt is chapped, son. Your butt is chapped, right?
I did
You
not
have
know.
a wound this size on the inside of your body because the placenta had to attach itself from your uterus. So the wound where the placenta was is this big on the inside of your body. If you were walking around with a wound like this on your side and on your rib, nobody would be like, go do delicious, pick up the baby, wash the tub out, what's for dinner. Nobody would say that to you.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh my God, sit down. Oh my God, what can I do for you? But because that wound is not visible, women are expected to get up and go back to work in 6 weeks. Nah, yo, my shit ain't even scabbed yet. Like, what you mean? My shit ain't even scabbed yet. Can I put my booty in my body? Can I pick myself up off the floor, please?
Yeah, thanks.
Please? Hey. No, we're good for now. Thank you.
Hey, let me get.
So, I provide postpartum support. I connect my clients with postpartum doulas, and a postpartum doula will come over and spend a few hours with you. If you already have kids, they come over and help you with your kids. I come over, help me with the kids, I do some laundry. I let folks know before they have the baby that one of their friends that want to come and visit the family cannot come on empty-handed. You need to bring a meal. You need to come over prepared to do some chores.
That's some real down south shit.
Listen, so again, the Southern midwife and the Southern midwifery model of care is what will save us. That's the model of care that will save Black women. That's the trajectory that we wanna if we wanna live, if we wanna know, we wanna be, we have to rebuild our community in a solid way. You gotta know. You're not about to come over here and see my baby and just kiss up on my baby and bring nothing. I'm not about to come over here and host you. I just had a baby. I just had a baby. Come over here. Yes, come over here and be my friend. Come over here and love up on me. But that really means love up on me. That really means come over here and read a book to my other child, my older children. It means come over here and bring me and my partner some food. It means come over here and hold this baby so I can take a shower by myself.
Wow. Oh my God.
That first solo shower.
No. Yeah.
No. Life was changing. I saw God. Okay, I saw God.
I love it, Carmen. I love it. Okay, I guess we'll go to the next one now. Golly, Carmen. So I love you. You're amazing.
That's disparities. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna get into it.
So Carmen, I really want you to get into this one. So what is your approach to addressing trauma and kind of like mental health, especially in light of the situation that's going on with Black women?
So our situation is epigenetic. Epigenetic is a huge word that's like being bounced around all over. Yeah. Epigenetic means the trauma that my mama experienced, the trauma that my grandma experienced, the trauma that my great grandmother experienced, and so on, lives within me. It lives within our body. When we experience trauma, as a woman, and I experience trauma, my DNA code is affected. Now my eggs now have the experience of that trauma. So I'm born experiencing and understanding and knowing the trauma, feeling that trauma that my grandmother felt, that my great grandmother felt, that from slavery. So we have to really do intentional, in-depth healing and reclaiming of our Black spaces, right? One of the things that I noticed as being a birth worker, and I've been a birth worker now for 10 years. My child will be 10 years old in September. I've been doing this. I've been for 10 years in the game. What I know is that all of the trauma that you've experienced in your life comes up while you're pregnant and when you're in labor. And if you're not able and equipped to deal with, understand, or like unpack that trauma, that is going to stop your labor. That's going to make you not dilate anymore. It's going to make it harder for you to push. It's going to make you want to give up, and you cannot give up. Like when you're there, like one of the things that I always tell my clients while we're in labor actively, one of the affirmations that I always say to my clients, when they are like hit the wall in there, when they hit the wall and they want to like quit, the only way through is through. The only way through this is through.
Yeah, ain't no
turning back now.
No turning back.
Ain't no turning back now. The only way this baby's gonna get out is out. So how are we gonna breathe? How are we gonna handle our pain gracefully? Right? And understand, like, another thing that I'm always telling my clients to say while they're in labor, and that's like a thing, like labor is a mental thing, but it's also an emotional thing, and it's also a spiritual thing. So we have to like be able to create an environment that is conducive to all of that. And it's really challenging to create an environment that's conducive to all of that in a hospital setting. Really challenging to do that with this open halogen light. It's really challenging to do that with these interns coming in every 20 minutes to check your vitals and all of that.
The whole intern team in and be like, look at
your vitals and all of these things. And while that's important, and it is important, like when I had a midwife, my midwife would check my vitals every hour. And it's safe to say the difference. But in New York, it's like every hour, and then in one part of labor, like the beginning, early labor might be like every hour or every half hour. Yeah. And then active labor, it might be every 15 minutes. And then like when you're pushing, it might be like every 5 minutes. You gotta like make sure you check the baby's heart rate, you check the mama's heart rate, you check the blood pressure. You make sure that there's no fever, right? Those are the things. Like a fever indicates that there might be an infection. So if there's a fever and there's an infection, then we gotta go to the hospital. We always prepare mothers. Like I want this to happen at your house, but if something goes to the left and we have to go to the hospital and that's the safest place for us, I want us to be safe overall.
Thanks.
Right?
Okay.
Safe overall. So we make a plan. If we don't go into home birth saying we're gonna have this baby at home, be on, we're doing this right there. Now we got a plan. We're gonna try to do this at home and we're gonna make it the best case scenario. But if we have to go to the hospital, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna tell. Like, you still make a birth plan. You still tell the nurse, I want it to be like this. I don't want this. I do want this. I want my doctor to be here. I want the lights to be here. I want them to delay the cord clamping. Like, when we're at home, we delay cord clamping. And that means like when the baby is born, the baby is attached to the placenta, and the baby's still breathing through the umbilical cord and through the placenta, right? The baby has a lot of blood in the placenta. When you delay the cord clamping, the baby is able to get all of the blood out of the placenta and is able to be that much stronger, right? That's why we want to delay the cord clamping. Yeah. But in hospitals, sometimes they accept that real quick, right? And then they take your baby and they like rub it all up and they do all of these things. In reality, things we should take in a little bit more slowly. Like, in reality, I have my baby, give me my baby, let my baby eat. Let my baby, let me rub my baby, let my baby acclimate to being earthside. My baby never saw light before. And it's bright as hell in here. My baby never felt this air before. And it's airy and cool in here. Let me be cool and let this being who came from out of space, his ancestor who has now arrived, but this new soul that has now arrived. Let them acclimate in a graceful way. Let's not be so crazy with it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Bright ass lights.
Bright ass lights. A lot of there's a lot of energy and a lot of nervousness and a lot of angst that can happen sometimes in the birthing room. One of the things that I like to always instill in my clients and most of all in the space, we can't have no fear in this space. We can only have love. Love and fear can occupy the same space at the same time. Can't have no fear in this space right now. We have only love.
Right, yeah.
We have concern. We are watching. We're making sure everything is going. We're not going to be afraid of nothing. But we know that we can handle all of the things. We don't have no fear when this is happening. Anybody who's nervous, they got to go. They got to go. Because we don't want that energy in here.
Spectrum.
Right.
Well, I love how you treat trauma, and you seem so knowledgeable. I love everything about what you said and how to kind of deal with trauma and mental health with Black women. I think that is so much more soothing. And I think that may be the key to unlocking the mystery of why there is such a disparity in the numbers.
And also it's understanding what your support system is and really being intentional about building that up, building that out. Wow, you got 40 weeks to do this. You got 40 weeks to figure out who your real friends are. You got 40 weeks to figure out where you're gonna live, how you're gonna be, what this is gonna be. You got 40 weeks. Not a lot of time, but it's some time to know how I'm gonna do this, who I want there, how I want this there. What am I one of the most important things that I tell my parents? What are y'all gonna eat after y'all have this baby? What's your first meal gonna be? Because after you have the baby, you real tired. And you really need to eat.
Mm.
The baby has you eat in labor. But most of the time, what I have seen a lot of times is you'll eat, but you'll also throw up. And when you throw up, throwing up is good, actually. When you're in labor and you throw up, every time you throw up, that also makes the cervix, the cervix dilate a little bit more. You want to throw up, but you don't want to make yourself throw up. You want to eat, you want to have fuel, but you don't necessarily have a lot of space in your stomach because the baby, the anatomy of the baby has pushed all of your organs around. So now that the baby is out, all of your organs full. You're very, very hungry and very, very tired. Another reason why new moms shouldn't be, hold your baby, breastfeed your baby, do whatever you're going to do with your baby. The baby shouldn't be your sole responsibility. You need people.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I like it. Everything you gave me, I love this. Carmen, you're platinum right now. You're on fucking fire. This girl is on fire. Fire.
Somebody told me Alicia Keys tonight. And then I was I can't play any piano. I no keys. I'm Alicia No Cruise. Like,
I like it. Whatever you're doing, you keep doing it, girl. I know you touched on it earlier, a little bit about the cultural things that go on with Black people, but I wanted to dive into it a little bit deeper. So how do you actually support cultural and traditional things that are important in Black families into labor and delivery? I mean, that is a real question. And I know you have a lot of experience in it, and I really want you to dive into it.
so, with my families, my philosophy is if you like it, I love it. And we're gonna grow and do. Like I like to always ask my families like where they're from. If they're Jamaican, if they're Haitian, if they're from like St. Me's or St. Kitts or from the South.
Especially in New York.
Especially in New York. What did y'all people do? What y'all ate? Like I'm gonna ask you what you ate. What did y'all family eat? What did you eat? What's your favorite meal? Because that's gonna be your push prize. That's gonna be your first meal after you eat. You're gonna need to eat some kind of stew. After you got this baby, you're gonna need to eat something that sticks to your ribs.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You're gonna need some real food because while you were in labor, you might be only having like toast or like some fruits or some nuts or some whatever. Now you gotta fuel your body because after you have birth, after you give birth, you're in the fourth trimester. Whether you're breastfeeding or not, you got to get your energy back up. You got to get you like one of the hormones. They live in the placenta. So when you give birth to the baby, all of the hormones leave with that placenta. So one of the birth practices, like I asked my parents what they want to do, like where y'all from, what y'all want to do, how y'all want to do that, and then I go and research what they do. So if they're Haitian, postpartum, we're gonna do a bathe. We're gonna do a Haitian bathe. I'm gonna beat you with leaves. I'm gonna beat you with
that's what it is. Okay.
I'm gonna like put you in a tub. We're gonna do a postpartum steam of some sort.
Big up to the Haitians.
I'm gonna grind you up.
Petty.
Like like we're doing it, right? If you're from the South, we're gonna do some kind of theme. If you're from the island, like whatever your family does and has been doing, we're gonna continue that tradition. My philosophy as a birthing supporter, as a someone who supports in birth, if you like it, I love it. Whatever you want to do, I want that for you. Whatever you want in your birth, whatever the practices are, I want that for you. If you want to take a placenta and you want to do a lotus birth, I'm going to do a lotus birth for you. I'm going to have all the herbs and do that. If you want to take the placenta and have me make it into capsules so that you can take it back into your body so that your hormones don't drop and you don't necessarily experience postpartum depression in the same way, I'm going to do that for you. Whatever the practices are you want to do, I'm going to make sure that you fulfill that. As a doula, I'm like a wedding planner before your birth. Right?
Love it.
You hire a professional to do your taxes. You hire a professional to plan your wedding. Hire a professional to do your birth. Like I'm a professional. I've done this a lot. I know what it looks like. I know what it should be like. I know what it feel like. And again, my biggest philosophy is if you like it, I love it. I love it. Whatever we do, we do it.
I love it that you're so like culturally.
We want to do a naming ceremony. We're gonna do a naming ceremony.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna take the baby outside and lift it up to the moonlight. We're doing it. We're doing it. Yin, yang, all of that. All of that. All of that.
Simba. This is your pride land.
All of that. If that's what you want to do, then that's what we're doing. I love it.
Oh, Carmen, you're great.
You like it? I love it. You with it? I'm with it. 2 times. So when you hire a doula, like when you hire me as a doula, I am your professional best friend that is an expert at this birthing shit. That's what I am.
10 years in the game, 10 toes down. 10 toes down.
10 toes down, 10 years in the game.
Yeah.
I want you to trust your body and I want you to trust your motherhood. And I want to prepare you to be a mother because how you start this thing is how it's going to be.
Thanks. Love you.
Let's start it off on the right foot. Let's start it off on a good foot.
Another question, especially for me as a man. So how do you actually involve like other partners or other family members in the birthing process? Because that I think is a good question.
That's my favorite thing to do is to involve the birthing people because I'm not going to be here. Like you hired me for this like 10-month process or not 10 months, 10-week process, this 40-week process. I'm going to leave. So I want to be doing all of the things that your partner can't do. And I want to have your partner be there behind you. I want to show your partner, like, one of my favorite things to do is to show your partner how to do counter pressure. Show your partner how to hold you and wipe your head and hold your hand and like look at you in the eye. Because I know when I was in labor, I was telling my partner to do whatever, but it was a point in time where I needed him to not move. I need you to not move from right here. I need to see your eyes because I am going into the depths of hell, into the skies of heaven to bring this baby down. I need you to like focus. I want partners and families to be there and to also feel like they're involved and useful.
Yeah.
I have partners. One thing that I know that positively affects birth is oxytocin. And oxytocin can happen when the lights are low and when the baby in the like I said, how the baby is here, how it's gonna be. So when the father of the child is holding the mama and rubbing up on her and loving her, that's gonna make the baby come down. That's gonna make the cervix open up. That's gonna make all of the things that we need to happen. I also like to involve moms, like mama's mom and daddy's mom, and getting any food together. I like to ask them. I like to take the pictures for them about. I'm like, you ever see the show? Have you ever seen like a Broadway show? I'm a stage manager. I'm not the cast. I want the parents and their family to be the main cast, and I want them to shine. I am a stage manager. I am backstage all the way. I am making sure all of the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, but I am not here to be like censored. I want the mother and the father and the family to be censored. And when I'm not getting situations where the family is like not necessarily great, like communication, I like to help with that communication. I will. One of the biggest things about being a doula is like being a professional resource finder. So I notice, I understand that this family is not like communicating well. I might outsource them a resource, like have them reach out to a therapist that can help them do some couple counseling. Might have them reach out to some elders in the community that might help them again have their communication in store and like lined up and good so that when the baby comes, they can talk to each other nicely. Like the gospel, according to Pop Smoke, according to my ancestor Pop Smoke, talk to me nice or don't talk at all. Everybody has to have that philosophy. Talk to me nice or don't talk at all.
Yeah. R.I.P. Pop Smoke. God Lee. Can you get sturdy?
Can you get sturdy? Talk to me nice. Mommy got to talk to the baby daddy nice. Baby daddy got to talk to mommy nice. Grandma got to talk to other grandma nice. Grandma got to talk to mama nice. Grandma got to talk to daddy nice. Everybody got to be nice. We got to be nice to each other. We got to just talk nicely to each other. And again, it's like understanding of how to dissipate the fear in the room. We don't want to have any fear in the room. We don't want to have any anxiety in the room. And if we have that, we want to understand and address that as soon as possible. We want to nip that in the bud.
Right. How do we make these, like your services, like accessible for like Black communities that maybe can't quite like afford a doula? Like, I'm just curious.
So that's a great question. I'm so grateful to Mayor Adams and all of the incentives that have been happening in like New York City for you to be able to access a doula or Medicaid. I also know that I have done a lot of work in the majority of my career, my birthing career, to be able to provide my services on a sliding scale. Like I believe, first and foremost, that Black women should be paid, and this is a service that should absolutely pay for. But I also know that when I was giving birth, I didn't have like a dime to my name, and I had everything that I needed. And people came in and helped me when I had nothing. So I always extend myself and help folks when they don't have. So yeah, I operate on a sliding scale. My sliding scale is like, pay what you can. Pay what you can, pay in a payment plan. Pay what you can and pay in a payment plan. And it is more accessible than we like to think. Like, folks got Balenciaga bags. Folks got Marc Jacobs totes. My services cost the same amount as that, and you can put it on a plan.
Right. Yeah.
You pay me $300 every 2 months to make this work. You can space it out.
And I think it's worth it to have like a child that got birthed healthy, and you as a woman feel good about yourself after you have a baby, because postpartum is actually real. Like,
Postpartum is
and
crazy.
I didn't understand that until I had a child, and my child's mother had postpartum. So
Postpartum is crazy because it doesn't like when we think about postpartum, we think about it as only happening to a woman, but postpartum happens to a family.
family,
It
yeah,
happens to families. Like it's not just the woman who's experiencing this. The man who's also like, damn, the person that I love the most that like gave me my child is struggling. And there's nothing I can do. It happened. The thing that affected the postpartum that triggered the postpartum happened while she was pregnant. It
right,
happened while she was 10. It happened while she was 15. It happened when she was a kid. It happens around how you develop and think. And then this, like when you have this baby and this baby comes outside, you are a whole new person. And you're navigating this life in a whole new way. And we don't have community support and structures to help us navigate how to be, how to live. Like nobody's like, you come home from the hospital, you have this baby, you just have this baby. Nobody told you like what to do with this baby. How are we like? What are we gonna do every day? How are we gonna eat? How are we gonna sleep? Who's gonna go to work? Like, what? How am I gonna take a shower and wash my ass? Nobody talks about this.
right. And I think from a male perspective, is that men need to be trained more about postpartum because it is a real thing. I didn't know anything about it till I had a child, and like postpartum is real.
And
It
serious.
took me a long time to figure it out. It took me, unfortunately, a little bit longer than I expected. But I was like, wow, you're going through postpartum. Now it's like I kind of understand a little bit more about like what kind of support you need to actually, have a child.
And it is very individualized, and it's very like my children. For example, my children's father would leave me for like a week or an end, right? And they come home and then think he's supporting me by taking the children away from me. But now my identity is wrapped up in these kids. So you take these kids and you think you're doing me a favor by taking the kids and taking them out of my hair, off my hands, but you're not. That is not the support I need. I need for you to have been here for that whole week. I would have needed for you to have helped me before it got too late. Like when they're in crisis mode, it's already too late. It's already too late. It's already so what can we do to like identify the trigger early on and de-escalate? Like that's really gonna be the name of the game. De-escalate and like beautiful communication. How can I communicate with you in a way that you know that I love you? That ultimately families have to understand together that they're not fighting with one another, that they're on the same team.
Right.
And we have a hard time communicating the fact that we are on the same team. Just in basic and our basic relationship one-on-one. So now we add another factor into this. Factor that can't talk, pays no bills, but takes up a lot of money and a lot of space and energy. It's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. So one thing that I will encourage new fathers and new mothers to do is to find your support system and have date nights. Have time alone away from the baby so that you can remember who you were before this. Remember that you love this person. Remember that you love this person. Remember that I really fuck with you. I really fuck with you. I really like you. I really like you. Really my dog. I really fucking love you. Like you really my peoples. Remember that. You know, when you can get there, then you can be like, oh, I can understand it. And then you can be in a place to have empathy for one another. Because when we like, when we shut down to the point where we don't have empathy for one another, we can't hear one another, then it just always becomes a like explosion and back and forth, and we can't de-escalate from there.
Yeah.
We have to be able to like break down those walls of communication and like really know, like damn, like this nigga's not against me. He's not trying to hurt me. He's not like, and then again, sometimes we are in situations where it is that is the case, and if that is the case, then what are the decisions that we need to make as a family, as a person, to like do the best thing for our child and the best thing for ourselves?
But I will say that most of the time it's not that case, and that most of the time they want the best. Men want the best for they
lady and for their child.
But I feel like women need to express it and not let men like leave men wondering. You gotta express it and verbally, kind of just say it.
It's right,
like,
it's really hard. Like again, like I was saying, it's really hard for me to express to my children's father. Like now, it's 10 years later. I can tell him, yes, I know you thought you were helping me by like coming in on Friday after I've been with the kids from Monday to Thursday and taking them for the day, but that didn't help me. It didn't help me. I really just felt alone and abandoned, like without my kids, because now my kids are part of my identity. What I really needed for you, what would have really been helpful for me, for you, is if you had checked in on Tuesday. If you had checked in on Wednesday. Before we got to Thursday, hey, Dala, you say again.
Yeah.
Yes, we are fabulous.
Yeah, we're gonna throw you in there, okay? Yes. Music back then, I feel bad for kids now because all I hear is Ice Spice.
Well, I do feel bad for kids, but I also tell young artists a lot whenever I have the opportunity to meet them. But you have a responsibility to make music to heal us, because this music is programming. This music is it's consciousness. You have a responsibility to make music that's healing us. This music has been weaponized to hurt us.
Yeah.
Weaponized to kill us. They're weaponized. You have death culture now.
Yeah.
You have a death culture now. You have a responsibility. We have a fuckboy culture now. We have a fuckgirl culture now. We have a culture where nobody knows how to respect and be nice to
Pussy
one
hole
another.
pink, booty hole brown.
You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to make sure that's not what. You have a responsibility.
Respect. So Carmen, so how do you actually work with medical professionals during birth to ensure that like maybe the children come out well?
That's a really good question. I understand humility and like relating with people very well. It's one of my strengths as a community organizer. It's like my job to understand people. So I want to be as humble but as also forthright as I can be. I like to again empower my clients. I want to empower my clients to ask all of the questions and know to ask questions. Like me and my clients make code. So I might like if I like scratch my head like this, or if I like rub my eyebrow, this is time to ask a question or slow things down. Because
So you coming into the doctor's office with them?
I'm coming into the doctor's office with you. I'm going to your doctor's appointment. I want to know who they are, right? But I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to be quiet. And I notice, one of the things that I notice all the time, which is so sad, but it's so true. The doctors be on their P's and Q's when they got another person in the room who knows what they're talking about. We got another person in the room, just period, who will say something. If you don't say something, if you're going to do something crazy, I'm going to, excuse me, wait a minute, sir. Excuse me.
Right.
But you still got to.
Because I think a lot of mothers, that's their first time. But this is not your first time. It's not your first rodeo.
Not my rodeo,
and you
right.
deal with other mothers. So you know the signs and questions to actually ask.
Do we really need this test? What is this test for? Like I trained my mothers beforehand, my fathers beforehand to ask these questions so that I don't have to, right? I want to, it doesn't serve the family well if I am adversarial with the medical and like with the doctors and the medical staff. So I try to really be humble, but that's why I also try to instill in my parents all of the tools and like talking points that they need to do before we go into the appointment. And I'm gonna know your doctor. I'm gonna know your birthing team. I'm gonna know your midwife. And again, I don't want to fight. Like we're a team all together, and we all have one common goal, which is to have a healthy and beautiful outcome. That the mother, that the father, that the baby are all safe and healthy. The biggest thing is for me to give my parents the toolkits, but they need to be able to advocate for themselves. But they just be there like the spook that sat at the door.
I love that. And I also love that you're there every step of the way. Like, hey, look, I'm there when you
thinking about getting pregnant. When you gotten pregnant. When you had the baby. When the baby's 2 years old, I get birthday cards.
You everywhere. You're at the doctor's office like, hey, I've already prepped you.
And doctors know me now. Yeah. You know me. So then that means that I get to have one-on-ones with the birthing person. And I also get to have one-on-ones with the birthing team. And to be like, okay, how are we going to do this? All right. How am I going to what do I need to tell my client, how do we navigate this? How do we navigate this so that everything is a win-win-win for everyone around? Because at the end of the day, it's not about me. And it's not about the doctor. It's about the birthing people. And
I love that.
the new family, like the new family that's been created.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So Carmen, the last question, and it's a biggie. I really just kind of want to know what. It's a two-part question. What actually sets you apart from a doula that is specifically focusing on Black families, and how do you think you're addressing the maternity crisis that is actually going on with Black women right now?
So I'm gonna answer the second question first. So again, like I said earlier on in the interview, if you ever like encounter me in life, I will probably say this again. I believe that the small is all, and that's how I like run my practice, my business, my philosophy in general, my birthing practice. The small is all, so it's the small things, it's the small little details, it's the ways you show up in the small ways that like affect the bigger picture. And that's how I show up for my families, and I specifically serve Black and brown families. I believe in meeting families where they're at and helping connect them to resources from where they're at. And again, empowering them to ask for and control what it is they need. Like you're hiring me for this little short process, but you're gonna have this whole life with this baby, this whole life with this family, and I'm honored and like humbled each and every time someone hires me. Each and every time someone hires me to be a part of their birthing journey and to be a part of their family for this bit of time, I'm honored and I am humbled each and every time. What sets me apart is again meeting families where they're at and understanding the cultural significance that happens on a one-to-one basis. And then helping other birth professionals in the community develop their own best practices to help families on a one-to-one basis. Like I said, at the end of the day, the small is all. A nation is built and established in our home. So how we like establish our home and how we establish our life is how it's going to be. So I want to empower people to establish their life how they want it to be, because I believe at the end of the day that infinite abundance is our birthright. It is our birthright to be free. It's our birthright to experience joy. It is our birthright to experience pleasure. It is our birthright to love unabashedly. And I want to help tear down any barriers that prevent us from these things, from actual liberation, from loving unabashedly, from living our truest self.
I really appreciate like your whole insight. I think you're gonna help a lot of people. I think what you're doing is honorable.
This is gonna help a lot of people. I would not have any way to talk about this unless like my mentor, shout out to Jamal Armani, she told me if we don't like document it, it didn't happen.
Right.
If you don't document it, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
If I don't tell my story, they will kill me and say I like you.
But it happened here today.
It happened here today. And you're not gonna kill me. You're not gonna kill me. I'm still alive. I'm still here.
Yeah, thanks. So I love all that. With that being said, this is Harabi Digital. This is Carmen, and we're out of here.
That's Liddy. Thank you for
Carmen, you're fucking amazing.
I was like, you told your mom about me? Where's your mom? She didn't talk.